Hello and welcome to another episode of CRT Sound System. We are here with episode 94. Jesus Christ, 94. And we're talking about Phoenix Wright. Well, at least the first three Phoenix Wright games. I'm here with Reese as always. Reese, how are you?
Incredible, Tom. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Really excited to talk about this series. Something I've been a big fan of for a while. And we have Thuly is back from previous episodes. I forget which episodes you were on with us. I know you did that mini episode with us, but Final Fantasy V. And I'm trying to remember which other one you did. Possibly two. I think it was a Toho one. Yeah.
This last summer.
Yeah. How are you? Welcome back.
I'm fit and fighting.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear.
Indeed. And yeah, we're talking about Phoenix Wright. Tell us a little bit about Phoenix Wright, what the whole deal with it is. I'm sure most people listening will know, but let's assume they don't.
Yeah, it's a series of visual novel games released by Capcom, originally on the GBA. Their first US release was on the DS. With some added content that was also the bridge to the second trilogy of games. I think today we're just going to be talking about games 1, 2, and 3, which comprise, when people talk about Phoenix Wright, that's usually what they're talking about, because it goes into other characters afterwards. But yeah, it's renowned for having literally colorful characters. It has a very Mega Man coding for all of these lawyers.
That is true, actually. I've never really sort of looked at it that way, but yeah, there's definitely like a Robot Masters vibe to all of the different lawyers you fight in.
Absolutely.
And even the judge is a bit of a doctor, like a Dr. Light kind of look to him as well. Okay, no, right. I'm on board with this theory. Right, go on.
Excellent.
Yeah, and you've got your Mega and your Proto being your Phoenix and your Edgeworth.
Yeah, absolutely. God, I'm looking at that cover art now, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's absolutely what they're doing. That is beyond stupid. I love it.
Capcom does one thing very, very well.
Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. Well, consider that a revelation on my part, anyway. But yeah, Reese, what's your sort of experience with the series to start off with? Okay, interesting.
I purchased the remaster of the first three, the Ace Attorney trilogy on Steam, which is excellent. Yeah. And I'm somewhere at the first third of the first one, and it's it's as charming as they say. I enjoy the little deductive beats, but in terms of, I'd never really, for whatever reason, this just totally flew over my head until the memes started popping up, and I'm just like, what's this meme all about? And they're just like, oh, this from 7 games. And I was like, cool. And then I played Danganronpa, and I was like, oh, so this is a Danganronpa like. Okay, I'm into this. And that's it. I don't really know very much about it, so I'm excited to learn.
Is definitely more interactive than Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright there's no branching paths. It is a visual novel, and each time you are prompted, there is a right and a wrong answer. And sometimes you are penalized for having the wrong answer if it's during the courtroom segments. That's really what they are. They could very easily be a book. Wife and I recently watched the anime series, and it is changed enough to be fun, but they could have changed nothing and it would have changed nothing. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, they are quite linear. Yeah, like whether or not this game is really a visual novel is definitely something that is under some debate. A lot of the visual novel purists will say it's not one, but who gives a shit about those people?
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's definitely a lot more linear than you'd expect from some of the more sort of story forward ones, or the ones that are like the Danganronpas or your Nonary games and stuff that are quite sort of emphasizing the choices and the story and stuff, whereas like these are more of a straightforward storytelling and more about the sort of like the moment to moment sort of like just that excitement of like the rush of the courtroom scenes and stuff like that. And it sounds so silly to talk about it, but like the presentation of these games is so amped up that like when the objection music starts, you start getting fucking, you're into it. Like it is so the way they manage to sort of to manage your sort of so it's not your expectations, but like the way you go through it and your excitement and your levels of peaking with what the characters are doing is like it's so well executed.
For people unaware, the sound effects in these games they are very repetitive, but they are very, very strong sound effects.
Yeah.
And whenever there's a breakthrough moment for a character, the music will usually change to something that has the hooks in this are incredible. Plain and simple. Like the hooks are powerful in all three games. And I guess notably, all three games had different composers.
Yeah.
And you can feel that, but there's also a stylistic through line that it feels like there was a sound director who left more fingerprints on the game than maybe any of the individual composers, save for the third game, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, that's for good reason too, but yeah.
To me, it's a testament to the power of pacing, where it just feels like, you know, I experienced this in these little clips where I was like, oh, that's a funny joke, but I wasn't like, oh, Phoenix Wright, that's crazy. But playing it and sort of like the build up to each case and sort of like in the moment you step in the courtroom, even though it's sort of like, it's definitely, a little silly, definitely kind of all ages murder mystery. You know, you get like a drop of blood so the whole family can go, and then the rest of it's the investigation. But I just think it's so immaculately delivered, where just like each moment kind of builds, and then you have these characters. Like in the first one, you have the killer. And my question for the group is it, are all the episodes kind of Columbo coded, where you see who does the murder, and then you kind of have to work backwards as Phoenix Wright to see them, or is there more mystery later on?
They are kind of Columbo coded, where you see it from the outset, but oftentimes what you will see is incomplete, or there's
sometimes misleading deliberately as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Some big surprises, and it's just like you'll see the same scene that you saw at the beginning in full color instead of in black and white, and there will be another detail pointed out, or somebody else will be in the picture that wasn't there previously.
So I would say that just goes further to my point of that it knows what it's doing in terms of doing murder mystery storytelling. I've been reading some Agatha Christie lately, and it's certainly Phoenix Wright and Agatha Christie have a lot of differences, but I think that being able to structure the story around the murder mystery requires some talent, and I think Phoenix Wright manages to like video game that in like a very kind of like new and compelling way, or like new when it came out. Now there's many Ace Attorney alikes.
Yeah, well, I mean, just to go back to Columbo as well, like you've got Detective Gumshoe, who is just very much a Columbo character. Like that character design is 100% based on Peter Falk.
Yes.
And like Columbo is quite popular in Japan, as I understand it as well. It is a fairly popular series.
I
But
can't
yeah,
speak
like
to that, but it makes sense.
yeah, it's one of those things you see sometimes where like people who are just really into people of a certain vintage in Japan are just really into Columbo. But like yeah, it's yeah. And like it's nothing is too complex in this. Like it's got a fairly straightforward morality, and like the legal system is deliberately fictionalized just to make it more exciting to play as an actual game.
Yes, it turns out being a real attorney is very boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not nailing. You're not getting people arrested on the stand. That would probably destroy your whole case, even if it's good. But
That's actually
as
a recurring theme in the game is that this, even though you're accusing someone and the evidence is pointing towards someone else, they're not the person on trial right now, and you have to prove that this person is not guilty, even if you're going to try to bring suit against someone else later.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting system for justice. But yeah, just to go back to something you mentioned, Thuly, is the just the fact that this was originally on the GBA, and on the GBA it was Japan only. So like it was when the DS versions came out that they first hit the West in English. Did you ever play the GBA versions? I don't know if there was ever like a fan translation done for them or anything like that. I was always curious about that, but I've never been able to find one.
I did not. I played them when the DS came out, which I mean, geez, that would have been what 2007 here. I remember vaguely messing around with the
Maybe
GBA
a bit earlier,
and probably playing the. Yeah, it had to have been it had to have been earlier because GBA was 99 in the US, 98, 99.
I think these must have been like 2005 when the DS versions came out.
That sounds right.
Because I think, it would have been, try to go through the timeline of my life. But yeah, I've talked about before about like importing a lot of games at this time on the DS, and this was one of the first ones that was sort of like a big one for me that I imported because it got a really big bump on the Something Awful forums when this came out. Like people were talking about it constantly, and like in the Nintendo DS thread, I was like, okay, yeah, I got to get this, so I imported American copy. And like just playing this was just like, this is pure DS to me, and it is so funny that it is a GBA game because like I know they added stuff in to make it more playable with the stylus, and they also added the additional case that has like more DSC kind of things to it. But like this game, this series sort of is the Nintendo DS to me in a lot of ways. Like just it is just this along with like oh God, what are they called? The Hotel Dusk and Another Code, like those, like a lot of these sort of mystery games. Oh, go on.
I was about to mention Hotel Dusk.
Hotel Dusk is such a good game, but like these games, Ghost Trick as well, obviously, like just like these are the DS to me. Oh my God, yeah. And even then, like what was the one, Time Hollow? There was a bunch of these sort of like these adventure mystery games on the DS, and it was such a good system for it because it really did allow you to sort of play with just like the actual functionality of the system in really, really interesting ways. And like, as I say, the main cases for this, for the first game and the first three games really, were all just sort of the GBA version with just some additional touch screen functionality, and they did sort of add some newer cases that had some extra stuff that you could do just to make use of like the microphone and other functionality in the DS. But even with that, like there is just such a strong like I tie these series so strongly to the DS, and like even with the re-releases, like Reese mentioned, you can get them on Steam, you can get them on all the consoles if you really want to play them. But you do kind of miss something not being able to just touch the screen. And just point out.
Had it been a GBA SP game, I would associate it with that console, but playing this, which is this adventure game, like in the King's Quest sense / visual novel, in a handheld form where you can pause it at any point in time, quick save, and go through it like a book. It really was a revelation compared to everything that had come before it, and it being a release title or near release title for the DS in the US was a big deal. We hadn't had anything like this on a handheld here in the West, really. I mean, there had been a handful of more adventure typey games, but nothing that was presented as this is an anime series that's in your pocket.
Yeah. It was definitely sort of like it's something big for the DS was sort of that early sort of mainstreaming of the anime sort of look to things. Even just thinking back to like when they changed the art style for the Castlevania game
exactly what I was thinking of.
For Dawn of Sorrow, like just that sort of leaning more into the anime style, and that becoming more popular in the mainstream in the West was definitely a part of it. And like the translation for these are sort of there's in this weird place between like the early types of translations where you get onigiri in Pokemon were called donuts, like that kind of thing, whereas this one, like you have, this is pretending in some of the earlier versions, it's like a pretend version of Los Angeles, when even though everything is so clearly Japanese, including down to like the shrine maidens and shit, like.
But they don't try to localize the shrine maiden thing. They just let them be spirit.
It just it's so funny that they're just like, yeah, this is what they do, like. Yeah, I'm supposed to explain that like your main character, Phoenix Wright, is just a lawyer, but his mentor / boss is also a lawyer, but is also from a family of like spirit mediums, and she dies. Is she killed in the first case or is she killed later? No spoilers for a very old game, but she's killed in the first game
near the beginning of the first game.
Yeah.
And then her sister comes along and is being semi-possessed by her ghost, essentially. So you have these sort of moments in the trials where Maya's spirit comes and takes over Mia. They're called Mia and Maya, just to be clear on that as well.
Yes, because they're one letter off of each other in the Japanese, and it is very.
I see.
Yeah,
that's clever. Okay.
Yeah, they're. I say one letter. You know what I mean.
Yeah, the one character is different. Yeah, okay, that makes a bit more sense. But yeah, like she'll come and take over, and then give you advice in the courtroom scenes. But yeah, let's jump into the first block of tracks anyway, because we've got a lot of music to get through on this one. So all of the music for the first game was done by Masakazu Sugimori. So from that game, we have Gyakuten Saiban Trial. Gyakuten Saiban is the name of the series in Japan, just to be clear. And then we have Investigation Opening 2001, Investigation Core 2001, Keisuke Otonogokiri. I really should be getting the English translations for these. That's Detective Itanogo. I believe that's Gumshoe's name in Japan. Yes. Then we've Ryuichi Naruhodo, Objection. Ryuichi is Phoenix name in Japan. Again, I think I'm just going to need to grab the English versions because I have Japanese names for all these. And then the last track is Pursuit Cornered. genuinely get so pumped every time I hear Pursuit. It's
Yeah.
It's so
Just-
strong.
like we talked so much, like we talked quite a bit earlier about just like the way the game paces its scenes and stuff like that, and like and the music is such a big part of it. Like it's so evocative, it's so strong, and like the pursuit theme, like the investigation themes, like all of them are just like burned into my brain. Not just from playing the games, but like this is just peak work music for me. I will just throw on these soundtracks while I'm working because they're like they have such an energy to them that like I find it so easy to actually work with it in the background.
Yeah.
Like you feel industrious when you're listening to like investigation opening or any of the investigation themes, and then like when pursuit comes on, you're like, okay, fuck, time to do some extra work. Like it's just it really gets you going. And like in the game as well, then when it's like when it starts playing, you're like, okay, I'm going to solve this crime. I'm going to get this guy to admit to doing this. Like you get so into it, and like it does such a good job of that.
1,000%.
Every track just has a forward momentum to it, except for the ones that intentionally don't. And the ones that intentionally don't are more cutscene and flashback cutscene and confession tracks.
Yeah, we'll listen to a few of those in the next block, but yeah, like the recollection tracks in particular are like quite a bit more sort of downplayed, but like it is always very, very appropriate. Like they do such a good job. Because we're going to move on to the second game shortly, I do want to just talk about Masakazu Sugimori. So mostly from what I can see here, a lot of what he's done is assorted work on Gyakuten Saiban or this the thing that's jumping out to me that you will probably know most, Reese, is Murder by Numbers. Was it you that was telling me about that? That's the
Murder by Numbers is fucking fantastic. Yes. Yeah. The music is great in it. Although to me, his legacy, personally in my life, will be Beautiful Joe.
Yeah.
Which hit the college dorms like a fucking missile. I remember my friend Chris just like sitting with Beautiful Joe and like mastering that game on a level I would not see until YouTube years later.
Oh my goodness. love to hear it.
I definitely have a lot of Beautiful Joe tracks burned into my memory. And this feels like, I don't know, like very much contiguous with just like the joy of the Capcom soundtrack throughout the years. You know, it's sort of like, faded, not that they're not good, but it doesn't loom quite as large in modern era, but still like the Capcom sound evolved, but continued to just like stick to your brain for quite some time.
It was still a hook machine in this era. You're absolutely correct, Reese.
Yeah, absolutely. And even just like the other one then that we have discussed was Ghost Trick, which another fantastic soundtrack that I will definitely have to get around to doing at some point for the show.
What a video game too.
Yeah, I never finished it, unfortunately. I don't know why I didn't finish it. It was just I stopped playing it and I never went back to it. But a great soundtrack I've listened to a lot, and I keep meaning to just get that when get the more recent releases that were put out on modern systems. And like, yeah, definitely, if nothing else, worth checking out the soundtrack for Ghost Trick. It is an absolute banger. But yeah, like there's not a lot I'm seeing here, at least as far as releases on VGMDB, but that's not always complete anyway. But like, definitely seems to be somebody who's been part of Capcom's sound team in general for a while. And yeah, like just definitely worth just sort of calling out there because we do love to see it. And Reese has talked to me about Murder by Numbers so many times, and I still haven't fucking played it. So yeah, I think maybe now I might just need to.
The core gameplay is still. Well, I mean, I guess this makes it all the more reason for you to play it, but it's just Picross.
Yeah, I love Picross.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, I could see you skipping a Picross game, and then I was like, wait, no, I can't.
What? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Picross.
It's everyone should play Murder by Numbers. Everybody should love Picross. Those are the laws.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. Okay, yeah, no, we're gonna have to. Anyway, right. So yeah, the second game, probably the one I remember the least, to be quite honest. Like it's because they all came out sort of in a bit of a flurry. Like they were all released quite close together, as I recall. Like,
Yeah, it was
so
within like a year, like 18
yeah,
months or something. All three of them would come out.
yeah, and it's great, like because as I say, these went from being basically unknown in the West to being incredibly popular characters and it was all sort of in service of them pushing the fourth game, which was like a new character, a new trilogy that people didn't fully get on board with, unfortunately. But I think with time people have softened a bit on that one. But like the second game in general, I'd say the main thing I remember from it is the clown.
Yeah, the second game is the weakest of the first trilogy. For a number of reasons. They tinkered around with some systems, and they do it again for the third game. But gameplay wise, it doesn't feel as tight. Everything feels a little loose and bloated. In especially the circus case, this is due to my recollection. Like for my recollection, at least, everything goes on and on and on.
Oh my god, yeah, so many, yeah. Yeah, the pacing is definitely a bit out of whack in the game. And like, is it more or less the same as it was in the original version, or did they make some edits to it? Do you know, as far as like that goes, or?
To my knowledge, it was made wordier in the US release, but
interesting.
Gameplay wise, it's identical.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so maybe that might be part of it as well, because we were talking a little bit about it during the break. But yeah, the circus case has some fairly infamous, weird. I'm going to say weird localization choices. Let's say, like they were pulling on a lot of like 4chan memes and. Yeah, it definitely doesn't age well. I don't know if they ever went back and sort of modified that so that they were maybe slightly less referential of 4chan stuff.
As far as I know, in the modern releases, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme is still in there.
That is such a wild pull. Like, to be clear on that, if for people who don't remember, that was just a 4chan meme at the time to just start quoting the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme at people. Like it would just start up in a thread and people would just suddenly be saying the entire theme. And yeah, it was it was a completely different time for 4chan. It was still an awful place to be, but it was like it was definitely not as horrible as it went on to become. But
before it had metastasized, let's say.
Yeah, even though thinking back, there's definitely a lot of shit there that I was like, oh, right, I see how that happened.
yeah, 100%. Well, there was a time, and this time seems pretty right for the Phoenix Wright translation, where there was nothing more delightful to a certain subsect of nerds than to reference 4chan and then for the other person not to get it, and they would just be like, oh, I'm in the know, ha 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 he he he. And it's very weird to apply that mindset to a translation of a game that will be out for forever, more or less. And I haven't played it, but considering how much the clown has become a meme, I can only imagine how insane it is to play in 2026.
That would probably break my brain going back and playing it. This is the only one I've never gone back and played through again, just because the pacing on cases 2 and 4 in particular are so plodding, and case 3 is just kind of, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, it's the one I remember the least. It's definitely the one that I sort of have the least interest in going back to. Like the first one is good. I've replayed about half of that when it came out. I would love to go back and play the third game because I think that might be the best one. It's definitely got the best characters because it's got Godot, but that's a conversation for later.
To plug the anime series, honestly, the important parts of the third game are recreated very faithfully in the anime series, and so if you just care to watch like the second season of it just to get the beats from the third game, you can just do that, and It's
Interesting.
It's not perfect. It's kind of schlocky anime, but that's Phoenix Wright.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's sort of what it leans into, I suppose. Yeah. But I suppose with that being said, the music is fucking still amazing. They did
all rippers.
Yeah, they did switch over to Naoto Tanaka for it, who's again another sort of Capcom lifer. Like has done a bunch of Capcom stuff. Big thing that we've sort of covered before, I suppose, is the Metal Gear Rising and Max Anarchy soundtracks that he's done some work on. But a lot of Mega Man, Rockman, I'm seeing on the list here. Yeah, so like Bayonetta 3, like definitely just like a Capcom guy through and through, and did some work with Platinum as well. So like, you know, you gotta respect a lot of that.
Yeah, and he did all of the arrangements for the Rockman Complete works.
Oh, did he? Okay, class.
Yes,
Yeah.
Or I guess for 4, 5, and 6, and he was around for all of them.
Okay, it's interesting. Okay.
So any Mega Man that you hear in these coming tracks, you know where it came from.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. All right. So he was on even back as far as 2. Okay, he did quite a bit on 2 as well. Interesting.
Yeah,
okay. So it was the PlayStation versions of it, right? Sorry,
the remasters. Yeah,
the remasters. Okay, interesting. Right. Okay, that's good to know, because yeah, it's a name I'm familiar with just from seeing in a lot of different things. But as we talked about in the Mega Man soundtrack, and a lot of times trying to figure out exactly who was a composer on stuff back then, it was often a bit of a shit show. But yeah, like definitely somebody who's been around in the Capcom sort of orbit for a long time. So like, yeah, we do love to see it. But like, yeah, we'll definitely talk more about the music shortly. But like, oh shit, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, the second game, that was the one where they introduced the locks, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's where locks came in, and
yeah, those were so fucking annoying.
Really obnoxious.
Yeah.
They wanted to make a more gamey mechanic, and it didn't feel good.
What are locks? Like, explain.
So Psychlocks are a mechanic whereby people would clam up, and you would have to converse with them adventure game style and present evidence and information in ways that would get them to open up, and then either like give up lying or recognize the truth.
Yeah.
And in essence, what it really meant was that it was a lot of use fish on barrel and hoping that it turned out. And you would get like 3 and 4 prompt, oh, I don't know about that, trial and error kind of
and
responses.
then just sort of having to go through all the dialogue every time. That, like, even when you could skip the dialogue, it was just like, oh, fuck me.
Yeah,
and
it wasn't adventure game bullshit. It wasn't terrible, but there were times where, I mean, I'm an idiot. Okay, I believe I have proven this in the Discord multiple times, and the simple fact of the matter is,
we're all idiots here. Please, it's a safe space.
Okay, I digress.
For idiots. Yeah.
So it turns into, okay, do I use the autopsy here or do I use the case report here? And then it just frustrating.
Yeah, very much so. And yeah, because it's like, depending on how long, and like some characters will have like multiple layers of these, and like even so, like there's times where you'll feel like you're making progress through a character, and then suddenly the game just sort of arbitrarily stops, so you have to go through this. Like, it doesn't it's sort of we talked about the pacing in this, and like I think one of the big reasons for the pacing being so fucked in this game is this, because like it'll stop the actual storytelling in its tracks for you to just sort of have to go do busy work and like figure out exactly what this person needs you to show them, and like that's part of the whole process of evidence and stuff in the trials anyway. Like, so having to do it in the the bits in between the trials where, like, generally in the first game you were just sort of, you do your evidence gathering, and then you go to the trial, and then like you get some new information, or you present something new to somebody, and then you might have to go back and do some more evidence gathering, and like that would sort of be the general loop. Whereas like putting this in the actual bits where you're doing that evidence gathering really just slowed everything down to a halt. And like, yeah, there was like multiple characters would seemingly do it arbitrarily, where they would just be like, oh no, I'm suddenly just deciding not to talk to you about this subject, even though there's no real reason for them to not do so. Or that, like, not even that there would be no real reason for them, that it was like actively harming them that they wouldn't fucking tell you about. It's like, it just, yeah, no, I'm getting mad about it now just thinking about it. I'm so fucking annoyed.
Let's listen to some music. Let's calm down. Before.
Sorry, just fully set me off there. Apologies.
Four Push is going to flip Music Bee, scattering the tracks everywhere. So,
oh my fucking god! Yeah,
let's let it rip. The quicker we can get past this game,
yeah, I think we will. Because the sooner we can get to 3, the better. Because I have 2 full blocks of 3. I love 3 so much. Okay, so from to all the music by Naoto Tanaka, also known in the credits for this for some reason as Akemi Kimura. So we have Recollection, the SL9 incident, Questioning, Moderato 2002, Trick and Magic, Objection 2002, Tell the Truth 2002, Press the Witness, Cornered/Variation, Psychological Lock, I mentioned that, Maya Fey, Turnabout Sisters 2001, and then Investigation Core 2002. I've calmed down now, having listened to some of those bangers, and I've promised
Nice.
Reese that I won't talk about Psychlocks anymore.
No, no, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, no,
I
go on. Sorry.
I was just commenting during the music how much Mega Man I was getting from it, and it's not exactly like the biggest surprise in the world. You kind of want something that's like peppy and engaging for a visual novel like this. It's already kind of like supposed to be a fun, rollicking adventure, not like a downer murder mystery. So you have to kind of like put forth extra energy to like combat those vibes. Because I mean, like I haven't played a ton of it, but the ones I have played, they're just like, I loved this woman and she died, and you're just like, oh, how fun, Larry Butts. So, so I see, it's what it needs. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Well, if you love that
Yes.
woman, the third game is a great place to go.
Yeah, for sure. As I mentioned, definitely my favorite of the three. One I do really, really want to go back to play, and like it's just who has time to play video games anymore? But I love listening to the soundtrack for all of these. But this is one that sort of really, really gets to me. Just so many good songs. The I think they really got the sort of the pacing right with these. Godot is such a cool, interesting villain slash hero, kind of whatever way they're going to do it. Like this,
Yeah, what a cool character!
Just the coolest character. He's if you've seen anything from this series, you've probably seen memes of this guy with his visor. He's got a cool sort of three red visors, like Cyclops style visor, and he's constantly drinking coffee.
He looks like a Metal Gear character.
Yeah, he does look a bit like a cyborg from like Metal Gear Rising for sure. Yeah. And yeah, it's just constantly drinking coffee. Hates Phoenix Wright, and you don't know why at the start. So like part of the sort of the mystery of the game is figuring out why he hates Phoenix Wright, and it's for a very normal reason. But like yeah, just like you go back and like you see him with like without the mask and everything. And I don't remember why he has the mask or why he's hiding his identity. I don't recall it being a particularly compelling thing though. But just the fact that he's called Godot is such a funny thing as well. It's just like why is this character referencing fucking Samuel Beckett? God only knows.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's such a cool character. I think one of the few characters' his name doesn't change between the Japanese and American versions, as I understand it.
To my knowledge, yeah. Well, he's a man stuck in a fixed point in time. Is kind of the whole thing.
Yeah, I guess that's the sort of the reference. Yeah,
and is that time the year 2088? Because he's awesome.
He has a whole complex about. Do we go full spoilers on this one? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess
it is a 23-year-old video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the lover / partner of the woman that was Phoenix's mentor that was killed in the first game, and the story of the third game fits in around the events of the first game in a way that tells that whole story without feeling really ham-fisted, I guess, because this was not written, like this was not intended whenever the first game kills off the mentor character. But they spun it off. I think they took feedback based on the second game. It's like, no, we'd like to see more about the characters that you already have. Like, we appreciate that you made new characters, and we like Pearl. She's fun. But this really kind of brings everything together, and it tells a bigger story where everyone that has kind of joined the permanent cast is a player of some part in the the tale, the play, whatever you want to call it, and it feels much more constructed as a narrative experience than the other two games.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a ripper. Like, it's a real banger of a story, honestly. And I think Capcom knew that.
I think, and like I mentioned, that sort of like part of them bringing all these together was sort of was to prepare us for the next trilogy. But like I think they knew with this game that they had something special, and that's why they started to make the effort to like bring this series over to the West, because like this game is so good. Like again, it's like the way it sort of weaves in the story that you already have experienced, and like brings all the characters back. Like because like whatever else about the second game, it had really good characters. Like we talked about it during the break, but like you have Francisca, who is just like such a funny character, but also just like
hyper competent and also so silly.
Just the silliest, and it's silly in a way that feels right for this weird sort of world that they've created, where everybody is as you mentioned, everybody is a Mega Man character. Like, this is just like
she is Whip Woman.
She is, and like her dad was a villain in the first game.
He was the final boss of the first game.
The final boss, essentially. Like he's the king of prosecutors. Nice. And like Miles becomes more of an ally in it. Like Edgeworth becomes more of an ally. Like he's still got that sort of like, again, that sort of Mega Man, Proto Man sort of rivals to the end, but also best friends.
Enemies to lovers, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he is aloof and biting the whole time.
Like again, it's just that it really just sort of brings the whole series together in a way that like that is very it's so strong that they managed to do it, and like it feels like it was always intended to be this way, even though, as you say, like there were changes made throughout this game to sort of bring it to being more the way people wanted the second game to be. So like it is good. I always like when like a third or like something can come along and sort of fill in the gaps of previous ones and sort of make the other ones better by just existing. It's so good, because like when you play this and then go back to the first game, you don't sort of see moments where you're like, oh, that doesn't line up with what they did in the third game. Like there's a couple of maybe like nitpicky things that you could probably point out, but like for the most part they do such a good job of like weaving in both the original story and this new story, and sort of giving you additional context for why everybody's doing what they're doing, and like where they ended up going with it and stuff. Like it's so good. And to talk about the music before we go on, music in this one is by Noriyuki Iwadare, who is not much of a Capcom guy, I would say, but but
he is video game royalty so far as I'm concerned.
Video game music royalty, absolutely. Some of the best soundtracks of all time. He's done like Lunar, some of the Fire Pro Wrestling games, Grandiose,
like Stars.
Hell yes.
Sorry, for me that's the one.
Yeah, just like an absolute, just like
Zero
powerhouse. Yeah. Oh my God. So you go onto his Moby Games, go onto his VGMTV page, just a massive amount of absolute banger soundtracks. I personally like the Lunar soundtracks and the Grandia soundtracks are probably the two outside of this one that I listen to the most. Mm-hmm. They're just like such good soundtracks, but like RPGs, like so many good RPGs, the Langrisser, like, Jesus Christ, just looking at this list, there's so much good shit on here.
Incredible Smash Brothers tracks, too.
Oh, fuck yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, he's on a bunch of Smash Brothers stuff. Again, more Smash Brothers. I really need to, like, I need to do, like, a 6-episode series on Smash Brothers, because, like, that is...
It's an 1,100-track soundtrack.
It's so big. Yeah. What did he do he did on his stuff on the Wii U version as well. Like, yeah, there's just
he did like an arrangement. I think he did a Street Fighter arrangement.
Yes, that was the one I was thinking of that he did. That's so good.
Yeah, the way that, not to totally digress, but Iwadare
absolutely.
doing Street Fighter is a perfect example of why you really should do like hey, here's composers doing other games for Smash.
Yeah, yeah, it's such a good aspect of the Smash soundtrack, and we've definitely talked about it many times before. Of just like that element of like Smash itself just being a celebration of video games and like a celebration of like the history of games on Nintendo and like both in the way the music is put together. Like Yuzo Koshiro was sort of for Ultimate certainly was like the main guy behind like pulling all these people together and like as you said, royalty, like so many different people on these soundtracks just working together and like doing each other's sounds and like it's yeah, sorry, I could fully go on about that for a long time and I won't, but he would then go on to do some of the later ones. I think he did 4, 5, and 6. I'm not sure if he did the great the Great Ace Attorneys or whatever those ones were called.
Great Ace Attorneys. That was a different composer intentionally. He did do the Edgeworth spin-off games, which are very much more adventure gamey. Like they are walk around and use fish on barrel type games.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd never played those ones, unfortunately, but I've heard they're quite good. But like I definitely listen to the soundtracks for all of these because they back in the early days of like video game music appearing on streaming services, this is one of the ones that would come up. This series would be ones that would be on a lot of them. So like on Spotify, and I had just had a massive playlist of all of these and like yeah, just listening to them. But yeah, okay, so he's done up at least as far as 6. Like not seeing any of the later ones
since 3, and bringing him in for 3 I think was a master stroke because number 1, 3 soundtrack is really good, and the direction that he brought to the sound of Phoenix Wright propelled it into the DS generation and forward.
Yeah, absolutely, because like listening back even now with the slightly enhanced versions of the soundtrack that we've been listening to, the version I'm working off here is the WiiWare version, but like the DS version was slightly enhanced from the GBA version. We've mentioned during the break, one of the breaks, but also just talked about it generally on the podcast. But like the GBA, despite having so many good soundtracks, did not have the best sound chip in the world, and had a lot of issues with just sort of essentially what sounded like cassette hits on every soundtrack. And even like on the best sounding soundtracks on that system, you're plagued by that a bit, and some people like that as a sort of as a hallmark of the sound of the GBA, but I've never been a big fan of it. Unfortunately, it does bother me. But at the same time, there's so many good soundtracks on that system that it's hard to be mad about it a lot of the time. But like yeah, they really updated the sound then for the DS, and those soundtracks are obviously much more accessible. They're the ones that you'll likely hear, and again with the WiiWare version, if you're listening on streaming, those are the ones you're going to hear. But like this one, then like it really does feel like when they brought it up to the DS, that he sort of completely redid it, and like it is that sort of more DS kind of sound to it. We have 2 full blocks, so I think what we'll do is we'll jump into the first block and we'll get some Phoenix Wright 3 music under our belt here. So the first track I have is Phoenix Wright Objection 2004. I suppose I probably should mention these are all like they all have the 2001, 2002, 2004 in them. It is just for whatever reason they decided to name these with the year that the game was released in for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why, but yeah, and I suppose we're probably noting that like when this came out on the GBA, the DS was either coming out or had just come out. So like I think they probably knew that they were going to be porting all these to the DS at the time, because they came out reasonably quickly afterwards. So I think that's probably why this game does feel a little bit more modern in terms of both its sound and in terms of like the way it's structured to sort of take advantage of the DS. But yeah, yeah, let's go in with these. So we've got Phoenix Wright Objection, then we have Phoenix Wright Trial, Cross Examination Allegro 2004, Tell the Truth 2004, Break the Witness Cornered / Variation, and then Godot, The Fragrance of Black Coffee. Yes, you can really feel the smoky noir vibes of Godot there.
Oh yeah, the
Uh,
fragrance of black coffee is such a fucking great name for a track. I already love Godot, and I have quite some time before I meet him.
uh, like I
Excellent.
would genuinely say just skip to 3 if you can, and just just absolutely worth it. And Godot is so good. Like just it's such a good like once you're sort of vaguely familiar with the characters, I don't think you would have a real issue just skipping straight to 3 and then going back to the others.
Yeah, the only thing that you really need to know from 2 is who Pearl is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll probably finish 1, and then I will consider skipping 2 upon your advice.
It feels hard to say it, but yeah, 2 is just, it is the weakest in the series by a long shot.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to the clown girl, but you've persuasively unsold me on it.
Back to it after 3 and just accept that like this is Phoenix Wright where it took a wrong turn and play in that playground.
Yeah. But yeah, like the music again, just like so good, and like it's definitely you definitely hear a lot of like Iwadare's sort of I would say signature sounds, just like a guy who works a lot in RPGs and shooters essentially, and like you can really hear that in like in the themes there, just like how they like some of that stuff just sounds like boss battles from RPGs. It's just it's great, and but at the same time it really does sort of have there's a sense of continuity in sound, and like the identity of the series is really kept strong in it, and just sort of I would say amplified to a really good degree by this soundtrack. Yeah, it's just definitely the best of the 3 soundtracks. If yeah,
Easily. And he came in and what you said, he just elevated what was already there. And also found some new ways to put some identity to things. Like everything that he has done is there's so much swing, even when it's like the harpsichord arpeggios from the trial theme, there's still room for swing in there, and he finds it.
Yeah. Like that version of Objection is just so good. Like there's just little things, just like the way he sort of like the sequence the drums and stuff like that in it that are just slightly different to the original version. It's just like it gives it that so much more momentum. Like yeah, it's just this whole soundtrack is full of bangers. There's a reason I decided I wanted to do 2 full blocks of this, and sort of quickly go through the first ones again. Like absolutely love the soundtracks of the first game. But like this is the one here that sort of really does it for me. One thing I mentioned during the break as well is like there's a lot of really strong arrange albums for these, and like I really wished I had enough time to include a bunch of them, because there's like a really good piano arrange of the soundtracks. There's some really good orchestral versions, and really good like there's a really excellent jazz soundtrack or jazz arrangement soundtrack as well, that are like all absolutely worth checking out. I feel like one day I need to like come back and do like an arrangements, because like one of the great things about getting into video game music is like when you start discovering all the weird arrangements. Like when we did the F-Zero episode, I included the jazz fusion F-Zero album they did in the 90s, but like there's so many weird little one-off little like arrangement albums that they do for stuff, and like that's such a cool little aspect of the way like video game music is treated in Japan. And I suppose worth mentioning actually, seeing as I very recently actually did go to the Stardew Valley orchestral concert that they did. Literally just this yeah, it was fantastic. And like again, very much along the lines of those sort of Japanese style, like the visual concerts that they do, like the ones that they do for like the Square games, and Nier in particular is the one that I'm thinking of, where they just included a bunch of new story material in the orchestral arrangements. So like it's and again such a Yoko Taro move to do it, but like like the just I just love to see sort of like video game music get like much more appreciated on as art, because as much as it's sort of like like it is just, it's not really considered, I wouldn't say not considered to be art, but like it is very much in popular consciousness, video game music is a very specific thing, and it doesn't sort of get treated as art, even though people, if you ask most people, they probably would say, oh yeah, it's obviously art. But I think in most people's brains, they are just like, no, this is just like, it's essentially just commercial like jingles, like that's the level that it's on, and that's unfortunate, because
it deserves more respect.
It deserves more respect than that. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I just went on a bit of a random tangent there about video game music, but yeah, that's what I'm here to talk about, I guess. So yeah.
No, you're spitting. You're spitting.
Yeah, you're absolutely. Yeah, you are on it. And if there's anyone that can be the poster child for that, this Capcom Sound Team era of Capcom, even though that Phoenix Wright's towards the end of it, is such a great example of, we're going to write music that is here to elevate the experience that can stand on its own. And Square was doing the same thing in this period, but God, the Capcom Sound Team all the way going back to the 80s is just so powerful.
Yeah.
Just great composers, great musicians.
Yeah, and it's like just an appreciation for the art form that they're working in. And like it's it's something we do talk about a lot on the show, I think, and like I would I know that I'm sort of preaching to the choir. Like nobody who's listening to this podcast is like, oh, video game music, what a bore.
Yeah.
You know what you're here for. But
I appreciate that the jazz album is just for sale on Steam, that it's not some forgotten relic. They're just like, no, this jazz album bangs, actually. It's for
sale. I would say you probably have Patrick Kulikowski to thank for that. He's I would say maybe a colleague. He was on the VGM Pyre soundtrack, but he worked for Capcom for quite a few years, and I do remember him talking on Twitter before about like how he worked really hard to get a lot of these soundtracks on Spotify and on digital platforms, including like the Breath of Fire soundtracks on Steam. Like you can't buy Breath of Fire games on Steam, but you can fucking buy the Breath of Fire soundtracks on Steam.
Awesome.
Awesome. Which it rules, because like those soundtracks are great and should be listened to, and it is unfortunate that you can't get those games anywhere. I think Breath of Fire 4 is available on PC now if you're on GOG, and if you are on GOG, go and buy Breath of Fire 4. That game whips ass and it's got a great soundtrack. But yeah, just like it's like there's people out there who are working hard to make sure that we can listen to video game music as easily as possible, and I feel like we should shout out those people for sure.
The greatest among us, as far as I'm concerned.
God's strongest soldiers,
for sure. Yeah.
Right. If I could just briefly say that listening to this, especially like the Godot track, but in general, something I've been appreciating about the music as it dovetails into what I've played at the game is that I feel like each note here is, you immediately know like what the deal is with this song or in this story moment or with this character, like, and it doesn't feel like hacky. It feels just like, all right, this girl, she's a spirit medium. She's, she's overwhelmed. You can tell by the facial expressions immediately, like where you're going with that character, with that song, and it makes it so effective in the moment to moment kind of gameplay. As that, like a new track hits and you're just like, oh shit, something's about to happen. It's fucking happening right now. I'm upset because my evidence has been refuted. The judge is letting the witness change a story on the stand for the fourth time. It's and I feel like that is a real underrated aspect of video game music, is its ability to set the stage immediately for something. And of course we've talked about it, but it's it's really on display here, where it's, you of course, you bring your own life and your own experience to every moment in the game, but it's sort of like it's so good at creating that common denominator for everybody approaching to be like, I know what Ace Attorney is doing here. I don't know exactly how the case will be, but like it's so enjoyable to be pulled through this narrative and artistic ringer. And it's and Capcom does it so well. And I think a lot of the games that we talk about, it's what it's doing so well, and I think it's particularly important for something like a visual novel, because a visual novel can so easily turn into a slog, even one that you were like enraptured with an hour before. So just shout out to Ace Attorney.
For sure, yeah.
Reese, I'm glad you mentioned like from the first note, because especially in something like Phoenix, right? You hear the first note well before you have gotten to the point where you can process the first story beat. And it just has to be boom on the spot, like tell you exactly what the mood is, because the words are going to take a little while to get there.
Yeah. No, it's like, because you start hearing the objection theme or like any of the pursuit themes, like when they they give you that sort of millisecond before, again, like the scene catches up with what's happening. So it's just like fully setting it up for you as soon as like, and like the game can just switch on a dime, and it's like it's so funny the way it does that, where it's just like, like you'll reveal a piece of information and then suddenly the game just kicks into fucking gear and it's off, and you're like okay, I'm going along with this. Sorry?
You feel, and the reverse of that too, especially in Phoenix, right, where you feel like you've made a huge good point and it's done the super super combo background, and then Godot's music hits and it's like, oh my god, what the fuck does he look like?
Yeah, because I suppose that's one of the fun things about it as well, is that like no matter what you do at a certain, like especially early on in the trials, like the prosecutor will have anticipated what you're going to do, and it's got that very sort of like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or like any sort of given anime thing where it's just like, aha, but I knew you were going to do that, so I planned ahead, and like that. It's just
I had not thought of that, and oh my god, this is my turn for a revelation.
It's just like, these characters, and like it's part of that thing of like with Francesca and Edward as well. It's just like these people are hyper competent. Like these are not idiots, even though they can be very goofy. Like and same with Godot is just like they know that you are not an idiot, and they treat you as such, even though like you are yourself a bit of a goof. But like they anticipate that you will eventually figure out what, that such and such person is lying, and they'll have prepared the next step along. So then you have to get over that hurdle, and like it's just the back and forth of it all is so well done. And again, in particular in the third and first games, like part of the way they do the trials, it's just how that works out so well, and a big part of like how those scenes impact is the music, and how it like it can just sort of give you these pure moments of adrenaline followed by like just that deflation of like where you're like
and the ecstasy of where it goes through everyone's faces being shocked after a revelation, and then cornered hits, and it's just like yes I get it. It is dope.
And I think something worth mentioning too is what a pleasure it is to go through this process. Like you can definitely go through narratives where like each turn is like you actually start getting upset, or it hits you like a ton of bricks. And although you'll be surprised and like appreciate and be invested in these narratives, it's much more kind of like on the murder mystery side of things, where it's like you read an Agatha Christie novel and people die and there's these stakes that are real and you're involved with, but it's set up in such a way, forgive me for using this term, but in a very classic sense, it's cozy, because you're not like going through like a lot of the brain processing power is kind of offloaded in these things that the narratives are doing. You immediately know what's up with this character. You don't have to decide for yourself. And of course it still wants you to be engaged with it, and it can, give you a turn and show you, oh, actually there's a different side to things. But I think it fits into what murder mysteries are so well, even if it's doing its own Japanese video game thing to it. Like, nobody's watching Knives Out and like being like, oh man, what the fuck is gonna happen? I'm really upset here, guys. Like, everybody's just enjoying, the accent and all of the performances and stuff like that. And I feel like this fits in perfectly well. And that's, I think, I certainly love the music a lot and these different things that we've been talking about a lot. But I think that's my favorite thing of what I've been discovering about Phoenix Wright with you all is this, how good of a murder mystery franchise it is and how well it fits into the murder mystery oeuvre.
Yeah, 100%.
How has Agatha Christie come up in 2 episodes in a row that I've been on?
That's true. Yeah.
Despite some of her novel titles, she's a good writer.
Oh yeah,
and I think also Agatha Christie quite another person who's quite popular in Japan for some reason. I do remember like in the mid 2000s, wasn't there like a Miss Marple anime?
Was there? Hilarious.
Yeah, hold on. I have to look this up now because I'm like, yeah, okay. So Agatha Christie's Great Detectives Poirot and Marple, and that was in 2004, and it was a 39 episodes. Yeah, yeah. So there you have it. Yeah, like again, just characters that are iconic across the world for sure. Yeah, so we will jump into this last block of tracks here. So let me pull up my list here. So first track is Investigation 2004. Then we have Furio Tigre, Swingin Tigre, Recollection, What the Others Have Seen, Recollection, A Shadow on Oboro Bridge, Recollection, The Bitter Taste of Truth. And last track then is Pursuit Corner 2004. Yeah, the recollection themes just they're so sad. And like the game again, the game is willing to sort of go to slightly darker places, despite the sort of all the attendant goofiness that sort of in this. But like it just manages the tone so well. And again, it's sort of like weaving in the narrative between sort of the flashbacks and what you already know of the characters from the first game and stuff like that. It's like it is so good, and like in the music as well, like the way they sort of incorporate little elements of like the sisters theme and everything throughout those as well is so good. It's just an absolutely fucking excellent soundtrack, top to bottom.
Yeah, little quotes peppered in. I love it when an anime series uses the first opening for the final episode.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that's the Phoenix Wright games, at least the first three anyway. I'm not sure if we'll get around to doing any of the other ones. I would hopefully like to maybe talk about them in future, but like because they all have excellent soundtracks. I don't have very much to say about them as games, unfortunately. But maybe we can do like a little bit of a cleanup of the rest of the games, or maybe someday I'll just suddenly decide I'm going to play all 60 hours of the Great Ace Attorney or whatever.
Sick, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, weird. I feel like it's ripe for a bonus episode. Just extra Phoenix Wright and some jazz.
Yeah. Worth mentioning also, Phoenix Wright showed up in Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Oh yeah, he did. What a weird character.
What a great, like such a perfect sort of weird Marvel versus Capcom character. I think the original plan was that he was going to be in the Tatsunoko versus Capcom, but they couldn't make it work. And then they tried to do it in like the first Marvel versus Capcom 3, like the original version of Marvel versus Capcom 3, but they couldn't make that work either. And then when like Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3 came out, they did it to the point where like a lot of people thought it was just a joke that they were putting him in. Because, like, yeah, again, just what a weird character.
He plays in such an orthogonal way to the rest of the cast.
Yeah. I forget what if they reuse the music or if they do new arrangements of it in the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 soundtrack. But
they are new and they are sick.
Okay, I'll have to have a little listen to it because I'm not crazy about Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but the music is really good in that game overall. Also, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom 3 is a great soundtrack. Fuck, right? Sending me off on
great soundtrack.
Yeah, but yeah. And Project Cross Zone is it just the second one of those that he's in?
Yes, I wish that video game was better because boy howdy, that is all of my buttons pushed all at once.
Yeah, is that the one where he has to defend Mishima from Tekken in court or something like that?
Yeah. I think I heard that as defend him from Tekken, as in he's being attacked by Tekken in court.
Oh no. No, is it? Yeah, he's like he has to be. Is he Mishima or Heihachi's lawyer or something in that game? I forget what it is. They make it fucking weird. Lawyer. Yeah, on retainer for Heihachi, like.
It's just a video game.
Yeah, the dumbest video games that you'll ever play that are like tied to a kind of interesting battle system that unfortunately means that like every single combat or every single battle takes way too long.
Gameplay's not exactly the same if you're doing it right.
Yeah, it's wild because like no matter like you could be doing the most optimal thing and it's just because of the way you have to do it. Like if you haven't played it, they're tactical RPGs, but when you get into the actual combat part of it, rather than like in a Fire Emblem or thing where like it just randomly calculates your damage and then you maybe get a little animation, you have to do a little side like a little a little fighting game sequence essentially where you can do
Do a
combos
combo,
and you do combos, you do juggling and like all that kind of stuff, and like it's cool. It's like it looks great. The animations are incredible. Like the moves feel really good when you're just pressing buttons to do them. Like there's like a fluidity to it. But that also means that like every single battle in the game takes multiple hours to actually go through, and like you said, Thuly, like no matter how long, like no matter how good you are at it, no matter how high powered your characters are, it pretty much takes the same amount of time. So there's no way to just sort of push through and just rush down a boss or whatever. Like in it, like you just sort of have to deal with how long it takes, which is it really turns into a slog after a while. Incredible soundtracks, though. I think Yuzo Koshiro was a big guy on those soundtracks. So definitely, if nothing else, go check out those soundtracks. They're great. Anyway, so Phoenix Wright, great series, great games, incredible music. I will always be coming back to these soundtracks. Just like say, if I'm working, if I'm just sort of like vibing at home and nothing else is going on, they're really, really good to just stick on. Great walking around music, just all that. We'll finish up with that. I think. Thuly, have you anything you want to plug? Anything you got going on that people should know about? I feel like the answer is no, but I always have to ask.
If you need to find me, you know where to find me.
Come to the Discord.
if anyone needs an L2 tech that can work remote, hit me up.
Yeah, there you go. Reese, what do you got going on at the moment?
I'd like you to check out Video Games Are the Worst Thing on Earth. That's the other thing that I'm doing. Otherwise, I'd like to plug Thuly. If you need an L2 tech that can work remote, check out Thuly. Thank you so much, Thuly. Incredible soundtrack, incredible guest. This was a pleasure.
My honor.
Always a pleasure to have you on. As for ourselves, you can find us CRT Sound System on Patreon. If you want to get some bonus episodes, we've recently recorded some minis that I plan hopefully to put out in the next couple of weeks. Once I get around to it, I have been very lazy about editing stuff, and I do need to get this episode edited and put out in the next 24 hours. So that's going to take priority. Go follow us there and come join us in the Discord. If you want to come on this show, send me or Reese a DM. Come and just chat with us about video game music.
DMing Tom, and I'm sick of it. I want to be sent a DM.
Go slide into Reese's DMs. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to finish up with this last track. Let me pull up my notes here. Investigation Core 2004. Thank you, Reese, as always. Thank you, Thuly, for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Have a good one.
Good night.